Maybe you are thinking that this is just another one of those videos, one of those that you keep scrolling and clicking on YouTube, on this internet full of dopamine. That video that you watch, take a peek, remember two other things, maybe even comment with a friend. But then you close the video, watch some porn, and never remember the information again. Information that is often relevant, but you simply do not apply to your life. In this video here, unlike all the others you watch looking for simple productivity hacks that promise to solve all the problems in your life, I am going to show you 5 habits that you cannot, under any circumstances, cultivate. If you want to have an adaptive life with mental health, productivity, long-term thinking, and motivation, all these items that are increasingly rare in society nowadays, and you know what I'm talking about. You know this is how it works, and you know several people who are like this. Unlike what you do with other videos, I need you to watch this video, close the browser tab or your phone screen, and actually think about what we are discussing here instead of simply switching platforms and going to TikTok to watch people shaking their ass and chest. I need you to think about these habits. I am going to mention habits that you cannot cultivate. And from these habits, from these insights, you start thinking about how to apply this to your life. Right now, this is not a video that you need to watch and leave without thinking about it. If that is the case, this is just another form of self-sabotage perpetuated by you. All right then, if you do not want to have a maladaptive life, walking towards cognitive dysfunction and poor mental health, here is the first one. The first habit that I want you to avoid under any circumstances is getting involved with toxic people. I know that often you think there is no problem. I know that often. You think that person who is close to you, that person who eventually hurts you, that person who gives a fake smile but throws some jabs at you, that person who talks behind your back. You know they talk behind your back, but you ignore it and continue being friends with that person. That person who often hurts you significantly, but in your head, you cling to them in some way, thinking they need to be present. Often this occurs due to a dysfunctional belief you have about yourself. However, this person is a stress-generating environment within your life. That contextual pin, that person inside your map, is a stress generator. It is as if you had an infection inside an organism, constantly recruiting and demanding from the immune system. And eventually this starts to tire you out, and you begin to enter emotional overload. Therefore, this psychological host that orbits your routine, this toxic person, this harmful person you relate to, must be something to be removed from your spectrum of coexistence behavior. I know it is often difficult, but removing a rusty nail that is stuck in your foot is much better. It is much better to feel that momentary pain, but not have that infection eating away at your system from the inside, than keeping that rusty nail stuck there for years, generating a series of collateral problems. The first habit I want you not to cultivate: get away urgently from toxic people. Get away urgently from people who hurt you. Get away urgently from people who compromise you cognitively and from a mental health standpoint. It is not as difficult as you think. Remember the metaphor of the nail and keep that in your head, which will greatly facilitate your decision-making. The second habit that I do not want you to cultivate is being sedentary. Do not be sedentary. Sedentarism communicates to your brain and to the people in society around you how you take care of yourself. Your self-evaluation as a person, your sense of self, that is the I. Me in relation to others, in relation to the world, in relation to the future, is influenced by sedentarism. That person who is sedentary, who does not take care of themselves, who does not care about their health, besides communicating to everyone else around that they are like this, they communicate it to themselves. William James, one of the most important psychologists in the United States, considered the father of American psychology, showed something fantastic in his studies: the capacity that our body has to inform our brain. Our brain has a gigantic capacity to read our bodily state. So when you are unwell, when you are inflamed, when you are tired, your brain knows it. And a sedentary body is an energetically ineffective body. It is an enzymatically ineffective body. And your brain ends up reading this, generating in you a low perception of self-efficacy, which many people also call self-esteem. The third habit I want you to avoid is not studying, or studying only one thing. If you do not study, you cannot keep up with the safety zone of your area. You will only be in the comfort zone, and barely that, which implies a possible dismissal, an inability to re-enter the job market, or an inability to enter the market after finishing college or a postgraduate degree. And if you study only one thing, you lose the ability to see the holistic sense. And holistic here, I am not saying like your holistic therapist speaks holistic is in the semantics of the word. Holistic in the sense of you seeing the world from a broader perspective. You can see this phone here in a systemic way, looking only at the case, looking only at the camera, looking only at the screen, looking only at the charging port, or you can see this cell phone as holistic, a complete view of a whole, a view of every part of the cell phone. When you do not study, you do not even know what this is, metaphorically speaking. When you study only one thing, you are seeing a phenomenon from a single perspective, and in an increasingly interconnected world where areas converse more and more. It is interesting that you can see the same thing from different perspectives because this will generate an increased input capacity in your brain, and therefore your production, wherever it may be, will be improved. So do not stop studying and do not study only one thing. The fourth habit that I would like you to leave behind is cultivating only instant pleasures. Stop desperately looking for quick pleasures. Stop desperately looking for quick pleasures in food, in video games, in pornography, in easy-to-read books. Not reading entire news articles, stopping and giving up in the face of any situation that demands effort. Dodging situations at work where you know you will need to strive a little more. Not training in a systematic way and with focused capacity, not wanting to evolve in your life and in the items that you need to imprint a certain effort to achieve. Stop scrolling through the Instagram feed on Reels all the time. Stop spending 2-3 hours using TikTok. Stop consuming useless content on YouTube, considering that you do not even learn anything from it that does not even generate entertainment for you. I am not against entertainment. I am in favor of entertainment, but an entertainment that at least entertains you. Watching things that you think generate entertainment, when in fact these things are only modulating certainties you have about your dysfunctional habits. You see people who smoke, you see people who drink, you see people who use drugs, and you start to normalize that in your life, thinking that is common, and therefore if that is common, I can do it. Stop cultivating quick pleasures. Stop spoiling your dopaminergic system. The fifth habit that I would like you to stop cultivating is avoiding situations that generate stress. Stop dodging situations that generate discomfort. Stop dodging situations that generate a need for effort. Stress respects an inverted U-curve. You need a little bit of stress. If you have very little or no stress, your system becomes dysfunctional. Now, if you have too much stress, your system also becomes dysfunctional. It is important to some degree that you submit yourself to stressing situations. What situations are these? Speaking at the work meeting, presenting school or college work, talking to the person you want to talk to, managing to organize a thought process and explain it to a specific number of people. Stop asking your college colleague to present your work. Never lose the opportunity to speak in public. Whenever you can, speak. Stop. Stop being afraid of leaving mommy and daddy's house and going to a new city to try life. If you have the financial capacity to try this, there is no reason not to try. The behavioral repertoire that this will generate for you is much greater than the $800 you are saving. And here I am speaking to those who are in these conditions, okay? Do not generalize, please. The issue is, and the general message of this last habit is, do not dodge possible responsibilities. Do not dodge possible items and situations where you will probably gain behavioral repertoire. Okay? Are we understood here? These are 5 habits that you cannot cultivate in your life if you want to reach somewhere of relevance. Do not relate to toxic people. Do not be sedentary. Do not stop studying or study only what you want and think is important. Do not cultivate quick pleasures and stop dodging things. Careful not to keep nurturing these habits. If you like this video, leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and also here in the comments and description, thank you very much for your attention for those who stayed until here, and see you next time.